Let's be real, this is exactly the kind of headline every Western Conference contender did not want to see right before the playoffs. Luka Dončić and an injury update in the same sentence always sends shockwaves through the NBA world, and this time is no different. Reports coming out of the Mavericks camp suggest that Luka is dealing with a lingering lower body issue, most likely an ankle or minor knee strain, that he picked up in the final stretch of the regular season. Now, the team is playing it safe, calling it day-to-day, but fans know how this story usually goes when it comes to superstar injuries heading into the postseason. The timing couldn't be more dramatic. Dallas is trying to lock in playoff rhythm, rotations are being finalized, and suddenly the entire offensive identity of the team feels like it's hanging in the balance. What makes this situation even more intense is the silence from the Mavericks medical staff. There's no definitive timeline, no clear confirmation on whether Luka will be 100% for Game 1, and that uncertainty is creating panic among fans and analysts alike. In the NBA, day-to-day can mean anything from he's playing tonight to he's not himself for 3 weeks. And with Luka being the engine that drives everything Dallas does on offense, even a 10 to 15% drop in explosiveness completely changes the ceiling of this team. Let's not forget, this is a guy who controls tempo, initiates every action, and basically serves as a one-man offensive system. Across social media, reactions have been immediate and emotional. Some fans are brushing it off as standard playoff rest strategy, while others are already bracing for disaster scenarios. Because when Luka is even slightly limited, the entire Mavericks playoff dream starts to look fragile. And the biggest question now is simple, is this just precaution, or the beginning of a much bigger problem at the worst possible time?
Injury update, guys. We have one for Luka in regards to when he could potentially get back on the court. And let's break it down. My name is Dr. Marco Lopez, Doctor of Physical Therapy and Certified Strength and Conditioning Specialist and co-founder of the Basketball Doctors. So for today's video, we're going to break down the injury progression of Luka. So he recently had a video. Take a listen to this.
A different injury that I ever had. It's been the second time, I did a hamstring, obviously way less, end of January. So the recovery has been a little longer, but I'm feeling good, working every day, trying to come back.
Have you ramped up at all to running or any on-court contact stuff?
Yeah, I'm running. Right now I'm running, but I haven't done any contact. I haven't been clear yet to do any contact.
So if you guys listen to the video, he's talking about that he really wants to get back to the court, but this is an injury that he hasn't sustained, and it's the first time that he's been out this long. He's been out over 2 months, I believe. And when it comes to these injuries, the good thing is that he's back into jogging, which is awesome. So that's a good first step, and it's all pain-free. So when it comes to hamstring injury,
Care fast, especially for a player who absorbs contact every single possession. Let's be real, Luka's game is physical by design. He's not just relying on speed, he uses strength, angles, and constant contact to create advantages. That means even minor lower body discomfort can have a ripple effect on his entire game. If his mobility is even slightly restricted, it impacts his step-back threes, his ability to drive through defenders, and most importantly, his defensive positioning, which already gets tested in high-level playoff matchups. The Mavericks are likely managing him with a combination of reduced practice reps, treatment sessions, and controlled minutes in scrimmage environments, but nothing replaces real game rhythm. What's adding fuel to the fire is the lack of visible confirmation during recent shit-arounds. Luka has been seen participating, but not at full intensity, and that has fans reading between every single line of body language. Analysts in the U.S. are split. Some believe this is purely precautionary rest disguised as injury management, while others think Dallas is quietly preparing for the reality that Luka may not enter the playoffs at 100%. Either way, uncertainty is the worst-case scenario in professional sports right before the postseason begins.
Circumstances. This was going to be the game, right? They had this great March, right? That man, Luka Dončić, played so well going up against SGA. Well, first quarter, this is what the entire first quarter looked like. The Lakers missing, and then SGA, watch this move. Look at this move. leaving Austin Reeves standing still. Thunder by 11. Shortly after that, LeBron, we got another turnover. We're going the other way. The Thunder had 14 points off turnovers in the first quarter. This is Lou Dort knocking down a three. Thunder by 16. Now, here's where it gets much, much worse. We're in the second quarter, late in the half, and just look at Luka. Forget about the play. Look at Luka grabbing the hamstring, hobbling up and down the floor. Look at him again. Get him out of there. Get him out of the game. There's 20 seconds left in the half. SGA, by the way, in this sequence is going to make a free throw to extend the lead to 35 points. It's a 31-point game at halftime. And in the third quarter, Luka is still out there. Inexplicably and perhaps inexcusably. Look what happens. So easy to see coming. 4.5 minutes into.
Now here's where things get serious. How does this completely reshape the Dallas Mavericks playoff strategy? Because let's be honest, everything this team does is built around Luka Dončić. Their half-court offense, late-game execution, pick-and-roll setups, and even transition decisions all flow through him. If he's limited or even slightly slowed down, Dallas doesn't just lose production, they lose identity. That forces the coaching staff into uncomfortable adjustments that they ideally wanted to avoid this late in the season. One immediate shift would be increased ball handling responsibility for secondary creators. That means guys like Kyrie Irving, if we assume roster continuity, or other perimeter shot creators, would have to take on a significantly larger load. But here's the problem. Those players are at their best when Luka is on the floor attracting defensive attention. Without him at full force, defenses can tighten up, switch more aggressively, and reduce spacing across the board. That changes shot quality dramatically. Suddenly, contested mid-range shots and isolation plays become the fallback instead of structured offensive advantages. Defensively, Dallas also feels the impact. Longer possessions caused by less efficient offense lead to more transition opportunities for opponents, which puts additional strain on a defense that already has to work hard in playoff matchups. Coaches may try to simplify the system, shorter rotations, more set plays, and controlled tempo, but that also reduces offensive explosiveness. Let's be real, this is a nightmare scenario for any team trying to make a deep playoff run. When your system is built around one generational talent, even a 20% reduction in his effectiveness forces a total recalibration of expectations.
The third, Luka goes down. It's a left hamstring. He would not get up. He would not return. He looked in a lot of pain. This looked bad. You'll hear from JJ Redick and our take on it in a moment. In the meantime, the game would just continue. SGA would score 28. The Thunder would wind up winning it 139-96. So a statement on one side, but the statements we really wanted to hear were from JJ Redick after the game.
JJ, what's the situation with Luka's hamstring?
We'll do an MRI tomorrow, left hamstring. We'll know more tomorrow.
Is there a thought that it's maybe not worth it to play him tonight, considering you guys are 2 weeks away?
I mean, it was discussed at halftime. Thought we'd give those guys about 6 minutes, and then we were going to, if we didn't cut into the lead, we were going to pull them. And obviously it was around that time that I don't remember the exact time, but that happened.
The exact time was 7:39 remaining in the third quarter. So roughly 4.5 minutes into the second half in a game that was hopelessly out of control. And Luka gets hurt, and it really looked bad. Tim McMahon, I'll start with you. What's your initial reaction?
I mean, this is, as you said, injury, forget to insult, to embarrassment. They were humiliated, and now Luka's hurt. Complete disaster for the Lakers. It puts...
The reaction in the U.S. basketball community has been instant, loud, and divided. On one side, Mavericks fans are holding on to hope, insisting that this is just standard playoff caution, something every elite team does to protect their superstar before the real battles begin. They point to Luka's history of playing through discomfort and argue that once the playoffs start, adrenaline alone will carry him back to full dominance. But on the other side, critics and rival fans are not buying the optimism. They're calling it a red flag, pointing out that lower body injuries for high-usage guards and forwards rarely disappear overnight, especially under playoff intensity. NBA analysts on national platforms have been breaking it down from every angle. Some emphasize that Dallas has been overly dependent on Luka all season, which makes any injury news feel catastrophic by default. Others argue that the Mavericks have quietly improved their depth and could survive a slightly limited version of Luka if the supporting cast steps up at the right time. But even those optimistic takes come with hesitation. Because everyone understands the same truth, there is no real replacement for Luka Dončic's offensive control. On social media, fan discussions are turning into full-blown scenarios, some predicting a heroic playoff run where Luka defies all odds, others fearing an early exit if he's not physically sharp. Memes, hot takes, and breakdown clips are spreading fast, but underneath all of it is the same tension. The NBA postseason is unforgiving, and fans know that one compromised superstar can change everything in a matter of games.